Hey everyone, so another passion of mine is real estate, and I came across a comment from a realtor that I know that people were asking him when is a good time to buy a home. And he said the best time for somebody to buy a home is when you can afford it. In my opinion, if you're saving to try and buy a home when you can afford it, you're going to be saving for life. Because markets change, markets are going to continue rising. Even though they'll dip and they'll correct, they'll continue going up. So if you think you're going to save for that down payment to buy a home, chances are it's not going to happen. My approach is, when is the right time to buy a house? The right time is now. That's going to be the same answer next year, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, so on and so on and so on. If you want to buy your dream home, in my opinion, you don't have much cash, you don't have that down payment for your dream home. If you have some sort of funding and some sort of a down payment, you are so far ahead you don't even realize it. A bit of my story was a few years back, got married, didn't have the funding to buy a home just because the market was nuts. So I had to live with my wife, and I lived with my parents in their basement for the better part of 5 years until I started doing some research into real estate and investing in real estate in particular. So what I did was we tried to muster up a bit of cash. In the end, we ended up finding about $30,000. With that $30,000, I didn't buy my dream home. I didn't even buy a house where I wanted to live. I didn't even buy a house that I lived in. I took that 30 grand and went and bought in a city called Brampton. Now, Brampton was a popular city. The area I bought in wasn't so popular. But nonetheless, we bought a house, we got into the real estate market. What that allowed us to do is build equity. So we bought the house, we rented it out, continued living in my parents' basement, and we rented it, and the renters, of course, were paying their rent. Great tenants, always paid on time for the most part, and essentially we're paying down the mortgage. And we were making, maybe $50 a month worth of profit. And that profit actually comes in as an income, which gets taxed as an income. It's not a capital gain. Also, what people don't know much either is if you get these rental properties and you keep them for a long term, right? Typically a mortgage is a 5-year window where you get to renew. In that 5 years, your renewal, chances are your house value has gone up. If you put renovations and stuff into it, it goes up even more. You renew your mortgage, you can take that out as debt. So you increase your mortgage, right? You remortgage the house, and that's debt that you're acquiring. Now, some of that you can actually keep, and you keep it tax-free. So now you're not getting taxed on capital gains of gains you've made on your house. This is legally. So that's what we did, and in the meantime, we also acquired another house, which was sorry, I gotta let my dog in. Which was sorry, lost my train of thought. We acquired another house, which the way I acquired it was I was looking to buy a home in Bradford, and searching online to find mortgage companies that would give me a mortgage with my poor credit and all that other jazz that people have a rough time getting a home, right? Came across this company, called them and said, hey, I'm looking to buy a house in Bradford. We're looking for a private mortgage or anything like that. Can you help us out? They said, well, Bradford's not really our area where we tend to invest in, but we do have this home in Shelburne. My first reaction, where the fuck is Shelburne? Never heard of this place. So I was like, hey, you know what? I'll try anything. Let's go have a look at this house. It was a horror show. Walked in there, holes in the floor that I could see into the basement, no drywall on the walls, studs, structural issues. The second floor was sagging because they had removed the structural wall, didn't restructure it properly. The kitchen was all beat up, no appliances. Upstairs, a whole bunch of issues with the bathroom, with mold. They didn't waterproof it properly. The showers in the bathtub, everything was molded. Everything was fucked and needed a new roof. And any nightmare you could think of, this one had it. My wife's reaction was, oh my God, what are we going to do? No, we can't do this. Mine was, oh yeah. So I said to them, you know what, I'd love to, but I don't have any cash to invest into this. That's why I was initially contacting you. And the owner of the mortgage company who told me to go look at the house said, no problem, I just need it off my hands. I can't do anything with it. I can't sell it because nobody's going to buy this. And he said, you assume the mortgage that's left because it was on foreclosure. That's why they owned it, and they owned the mortgage. So I said, you assume the mortgage. I'll give you another mortgage to cover the balance of the price of that we're looking for the house, which was $250,000. So $125,000 mortgage to assume, another mortgage to cover the balance, each mortgage at 5% each. And then I said to them, well, I don't have any money to fix this thing, so this is just going to be a pig on cash for me, just paying bills and taxes. So I said, okay, what would it take to renovate it? I looked around, took measurements, did what I had to do, and I said, I'll take about $30,000. Said, no problem. I'll give you another mortgage for $30,000 at 5%. So now I have 3 mortgages on one house, 5% on each mortgage. Fuck. I had to do some creative thinking. So I buckled down and I looked at every little square inch of that house where I could save money. In the end, the renovations ended up costing us about $20,000, and that's due to a lot of free help and a lot of man hours into it. With the extra $10,000 of that construction loan, I actually paid the mortgages and the expenses. So in the end, I bought the house, renovated it, and it didn't cost me a penny out of my pocket. We got it reappraised. It reappraised at $355,000. So we bought it for $250,000, had a construction loan of $30,000, so that's $280,000 all in, and it reappraised at $355,000. That's a nice jump. So we remortgaged it at 80% of its current appraisal value of $355,000. Now, I didn't prepare all my math yet, but you can do the math. That's what we took back as a tax-free profit from the house. So currently, it hasn't cost us anything. We've made that profit on it tax-free. Now we're going to try and sell it. Well, trying to sell it in that area was very tough just because of the market. So we decided to do a lease to own. Now that lease to own matures this December. So the people that are in there have been in there for 5 years, have never missed a beat on paying their rent on time, and some of their rent has actually been accumulated, put aside for their down payment. Now, as long as they can assume the mortgage, I'm going to end up providing them a second mortgage to cover the balance. So in the end, I bought a home for free, and I provided a home for somebody else who was desperately looking for one and couldn't afford one. So I gave them an option that they could own their own home. And I'm hoping all the best for them. And I really hope they do. I really hope they're able to, assume the mortgage, and I'll gladly provide a second mortgage for them to buy the home. That being said, too, that second mortgage, those payments come in as an income, which is taxed less than capital gains. So now, going a little backwards to how to accumulate wealth to buy your dream home. I'm still on the path, but I got out of my parents' basement, took those 2 houses, remortgaged them. I'd say I pulled out about, I think in total it was about $80,000. Now that went to paying some debts and fixing credit a little bit. And in the end, the one in Brampton, we actually sold at the peak of the real estate market, where we made off with a lot of cash on top of the cash that we pulled out by remortgaging it. That one there was obviously taxed at capital gains, which sucks. A lot of money to the government with that one. But they need to take their piece too, right? So in the end, we took that money, finally had a down payment to buy our own home, which was bought in the city of Beaton. Now, the city of Beaton was that little town around everything that was so popular and everybody wanted to go to, which is Bradford, Tottenham, Alliston, Newmarket, Aurora. So I looked at my house. My wife found the house, and I said, that price is amazing. Yeah, let's go have a look at it. Again, where the heck is Beaton, when we actually lived not too far away from it. So we went there and right away saw the house, saw the potential in the area. I said, yeah, let's get it. So that there, we ended up paying, we ended up getting the house for $380,000, and at the peak market, the houses around us were selling for about $580,000, $590,000. So we were looking at, oh wow, we made $200,000 worth of equity within a couple years, a year or two. And then everything shifted, the market shifted, where now a lot of house prices started dropping. A lot of markets like Bradford and Tottenham, where houses were selling for $1.2, $1.3 million, are now lucky if you sell it for about $800,000, $700,000, $900,000. Where our community, we went from a whopping $580,000 to $600,000 for a detached home, 3-bedroom, to a minor hit of around $560,000. So the point of all this is, if you're gonna buy a home, buy it now. Do your research. Do your research in markets. Do your research in communities. Beaton now is looking to grow. We've got our first low-rise condo, and they're looking to build another 2. And this is only going to increase popularity and values in the area. Now, we haven't been affected by the market, right? So that's the difference on, following what everybody else does, or picking and choosing where you invest your money and the houses that you buy that can make you money to eventually get your dream home. Eventually, we will get that home that we're going to stay there for the rest of our lives, and chances are I'm going to build it because I'm a contractor and I have the means to do that. Even if you don't, it's still possible. So in the end, it's doing smart research, getting into the market. That's the most important thing. Don't worry about buying your house in your that best area, or the area you want to live in with the best schools and this and that. No, buy a house. You don't have to live in it. But if you buy a house, you will build monetary wealth to buy the house that you really want to live in when the time comes. That's my take on it. Hopefully this does help some of you. Please, if you'd like, comment. I'll give you more information gladly. Like, share the video, and hopefully we can open up a lot of people's eyes on how to invest in the real estate market and get away from this stigma that we have to save that hundreds of thousands of dollars to buy a home, or else we're never going to live somewhere. And realistically, when you actually do the math, buying a home versus renting a home is actually cheaper. Yeah, you might be restricted to some things that you can do to the house or do on the property, but if you're looking at a financial perspective, it's actually cheaper to rent a home. That being said, it still doesn't mean you can't own one. You can own a home and still rent one. Chances are you'll make more money. That's my take. Please, again, comment, subscribe, share, like, all that stuff. And that's my take. Peace. Thanks for watching.